Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Free Think Dojo. How are you, by the way? I've been making a lot of videos within this past few months, and I never really took time to ask how you're doing. With the chaos that's going on in this world, I know that everything is a little unstable. There's a lot of unsureness and fear and anxiety about the future, and I totally get it. It's no secret that we live in some pretty chaotic times, and I've noticed that there has been more negative information being passed around than positive. Because we have started to become overexposed to negative events and negative emotions, I've noticed that a lot of people are reacting in ways that are not very healthy. And what I mean by that is a lot of people are starting to develop a victim mentality. This type of mentality can be very damaging, and especially during very difficult times in the world, the last thing we want to do is make it harder for ourselves or others to deal and cope with these situations. So today in the dojo, I thought we could talk a little bit about the victim mentality, my personal experiences with it, but also how we as individuals and groups can fight to defeat this type of mentality and create a stronger sense of ourselves to fight these hard times. Victim mentality can be developed in many different ways. I feel like there's a lot of factors that come into play in terms of how it's developed, when it's developed, and how it can affect your personality. That could be anywhere from personal experiences or something that your family instilled in you or friends instilled in you. It can literally come from many different aspects, but what I do want to preface is that if you were an actual victim of a crime or an incident, that's a totally different story. We will all go through hard times or experience different, levels of trauma within our lives. And I feel like it's important to understand ways to positively cope with those hard times and traumas, because when you don't learn how to find the best ways to create a positive outcome out of those atrocities, it can almost lead to digging a deeper hole for yourself. For me, I've had instances in my life where I've gone through something difficult and have immediately thought the world was after me. I thought I was dealt a short end of the stick, and that no matter what I did, I was always going to be the victim of the world. And this type of mentality was dangerous for me because I was always giving up at the drop of a hat. I was never trying to actually fight to find a solution and fix the issue. When I was younger, I also was very unconfrontational. And even when I was in confrontation, I always found myself having this immediate reaction to feel like this person was against me. Even if they were trying to help me, I always felt like I needed to feel this sense of, victimization to really feel sorry for myself to make me feel better. It was a really odd combination, which I think actually stemmed from my mom. Now, obviously, I'm not pushing anything to my mom or blaming her for anything, but there were times when we would have arguments and she would immediately think that I was fighting against her, even when I was just trying to help. And it was almost like she felt like the victim of every situation, when in reality, people were just trying to have a simple, compromising conversation, and it was very hard to deal with that. Now, obviously, it's gotten better over time when we've learned to communicate with each other. And as I was growing up and being a very emotional kid, it was hard to kind of balance that in conversation. But I feel like that trickled and fell from her onto me as I was being raised. I found that playing the victim card, especially when you're a developing child, growing up, trying to make friends and all that, it really hurts your self-esteem in a way. Because most people are just trying to give you a pity card and they feel sorry for you. They don't really see who you are as a person because you keep pushing them away, thinking everybody's against you. And at the end of the day, it's not helping you develop a strong sense of relationship, but also a strong sense of yourself. Once I decided to break that mold, I just started accepting my faults. I started having conversations with people where they would say, you need to get help with this, or you need to fix this. And instead of fighting against them and thinking, oh, you're just against me, you're just trying to ruin my credibility or who I am, I just accepted it. I said, you're right. I do feel like that's an issue with myself. I do need to go get that fixed. And then I eventually started to go and find ways to fix those issues and find ways to cope with them. I truly believe that the ultimate cure for victim mentality is to just be self-aware, but also be humble in the sense of curiosity. You want to be curious about how you can make yourself better. But at the same time, you need to be aware and you need to acknowledge your own faults to be able to move forward in that positive direction. During hard times, such as the days that we are currently experiencing, I feel like a lot of people will immediately take, what the government is doing or what the world is doing and automatically fall prey to it. And trust me, it's easy. I've had many cases where the government has done something where they're, violating a right, or they're trying to take away something that benefits the actual human beings on this earth. And you immediately fall to this kind of mentality of they're coming after me, they're trying to take this away from me. But at the same time, that's exactly what they want you to think. Whether they are actually taking something away from you or not, their actions are meant to push this type of mentality on people to make them feel weak, to make them get to a point where they can be taken advantage of. And I think that's where things start to get dangerous. Once they do start to take away rights or they start to put things into effect that are going to harm you, it's almost like this mentality has taken such a hold on you at that point. And you get so emotional to where everything they say will rally you up and will put you in a place to where you feel hopeless. Once you feel hopeless, that's when they'll get you. That's when they can know that you're beaten down to the ground and they can just throw anything at you because you're too emotional and weak minded to fight against it in a positive, impactful way. So, in hard times, how do we beat this? How do we fight against this type of victim mentality? In my opinion, the first step, as I mentioned before, is to be aware of the bad things. I think some people will immediately ignore it or try to push it away. And a lot of them, if it gets too close to home and it becomes something that is too personal to them, they immediately freeze up. They try to fight against it, they isolate themselves from the event, and they just try to avoid it and push it away. But as we all know, if you just push something to the side, it's still going to be there. So, to become aware of the event that's happening, to do research and be educated on what is happening in the world, I think is very important. It's a part of awareness, but it will also help you decide and understand where you, as yourself, fit within those events. It will help you create a better sense of confidence, knowing that they aren't getting the best of you and you don't have to play victim to them. You might be a victim of what is happening, but as soon as you give in to what they want you to think, that's when you start to lose. While obviously acknowledging the outside events that are causing this mentality, I think it's even more important to understand what is happening inside that might be causing this. It is no secret that the events are still going to suck. They're going to be terrible even if you do acknowledge them and become educated on them. But I think that's where you need to look within yourself after you become educated and understand your strengths and your weaknesses. It's time to invest in yourself and to invest in your own mind by being educated on ways to cope, ways to deal with things, ways to positively impact your life. And this could be even from going to the gym and working those emotions out. It could be, reading a book that brings you joy or playing a video game, watching a movie, finding things that are not a distraction, but just a way to convey your emotions that you're feeling in a positive way. Whether we do go through hard times or not, it is always important to invest in who you are. At the end of the day, human beings are very strong creatures. We are able to do things as human beings that no other species can. It's important to realize that the victim mentality is a choice. Whether you do go through something traumatic or not, it is a choice at the end of the day how you want to deal with it, how you want to move forward. So if you decide that you want to stay in the same isolated place, away from everybody, just trying to sulk within everything that's happening, it's going to keep you there because that's what that mentality is built for. It is definitely possible that at some point you're going to realize that somebody will be against you. The world might actually be against you, and you might actually be the definition sense of a victim. But I think it's more important now than ever to have confidence in yourself and realize that we are all, as human beings, on a level playing field at our base levels. The mind is a very powerful tool. And since we're all on this level playing field together, I think the thing that causes the most difference between each human being is if they've realized that you control your mindset. The victim mentality is a trap that limits potential. Life is not about what happens to you, but how you respond to it. Let me know down in the comments what your opinions are about the victim mentality. And if you've had personal experiences with it like I have, definitely let me know how you dealt with it and what has come from it. Once again, though, I appreciate everybody hanging around in the dojo with me today. I'll actually be on a little trip this weekend, so I might be slow getting some videos out next week or replying to comments, so please bear with me. But I'll definitely be back full swing later next week with some more videos. So once again, please subscribe to the channel for more content like this, like the video, and share it with your friends to grow the dojo. And I'll talk to you guys next time.